have like 12 different paints, and then you have the model itself. So the paints, like I still have the paints from like the red slab from the ogre zombie. They keep in these containers, so it really, you can really have them for a long time if you're just trying to build up kind of you know, just equipment to be able to paint more stuff. Alright, we have our base. You know, something I am going to use actually outside of the equipment here is I'm going to use the glue, just to try and glue it to the base. The glue does not come in the kit, so you will want your own. But you can absolutely paint it without attaching it to the base right away. Be careful. This one's got a lot of finer details that are kind of like a little more fragile. You kind of see that here. You see the eye is actually kind of like a plastic. Same with these. These are going to be kind of like the pinks. These are a little more difficult to paint because it's not necessarily primed, so you got to really make sure you get the color on there the right way, otherwise it's going to bleed everywhere. And then you can see, so we're going to be painting kind of the main skull like this whitish. It's dirty. There's grays, blacks, can be some blues and greens here in the cheekbones, and then the base can be a gray as well. So the Death Tyrant is essentially an undead beholder, but it's not like a zombie. It's like it's an intelligent beholder that decided to turn itself undead for the power of undeath. Not necessarily like a resurrected beholder by like a necromancer. So it's going to be pretty cool for your campaign. It's really terrifying. I think it's probably, I would say it's scarier than the beholder, because it's like it's a beholder that made the choice to be undead. We're going to go ahead and glue that to the base. I just applied a little bit to it, and we're going to put it around the base. We're going to hold it for a little bit. And this base is looking pretty big. We did the blue slab a few days ago to prep for this, and I think it was kind of the same size. It didn't fit on the base holder, so we won't use that today. So the only thing that we are using outside of the kit is the glue, and we're going to need some water for our water cup. All right. That is on there. Okay, look at it. You know, with these models that are supposed to be kind of like a whitish, you could play with this unpainted, but it's going to be more fun to paint this. It's going to be interesting to, oh, they have a gloss varnish too? Really? That's awesome. Yeah, there's a gloss varnish. Something that probably like a wash you can put over at the end. Black, brown, medium gray, bone white. We've seen bone white with the ogre zombie. Ivory. It's kind of like these are all off-whites, which is really nice. Blue, green, pale blue, black, magenta, magenta fluo, pastel blue, and the bright green. All right. And these are all... I think these paints are all Vallejo, partnering with Wizkids here. Or it's Army Painter? No, I think it's Vallejo. Oh yeah, it says Vallejo right there. Whoa, this black kind of exploded already. You see that kind of coming off in the plastic there. This mat is the go-to mat that I use to paint on, so it's seen so much. It's not going to be affected by anything that hits it. Whoa, this blue kind of exploded too. Interesting. Oh man, and actually the text is coming off a little bit. This is the first time this has happened actually, and this thing wasn't really shook around once I got it. So just be a little careful of that as you're opening the packaging. We are going to get water and paper towels from the bathroom. But looks like we have everything here. This piece that the paints came in can also double as a palette. So maybe we'll have kind of that over here. It's typically, you know, I use the wet palette because a lot of times the paints come kind of chunky and you want to use a wet palette to kind of thin it so that you can put on the model so you're not globbing things on and covering up any details. But I've found consistently that the paints that come in these are pretty solid, not too chunky. You can really pull them right out of the pot. I don't recommend it for the long term, but you know, when we're not using a wet palette, we're just kind of like, maybe we can do some mixing here. But we're able to pull it right out of the pot. Okay, I will be right back. I'm gonna get some water and then we'll be able to get started. All right. We have, I forgot that I usually use like a coffee cup for the water because the water pot's kind of small, but it's totally doable for what we have here. So we have the water pot, a little water, clean our brush. Brush is that right here. We have paper towel to wipe the brush. And nice. I was just over there getting them on. We got the stream on the big screen here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So what, really, you can kind of tackle this any way you want to. Probably the biggest thing we're going to want to do is we're going to start with the white, and we're just going to start putting it all over the model. So it's really not big. I don't know, you know, if the Dire Troll took like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. This one, I don't know how long it's going to take. Might not be too long. It's really going to be how, you know, detailed and creative you want to be. So we have the fine detail and we have the multi-purpose. And let's go ahead and start with our ivory. Ooh, bone white is kind of brownish. You see that? Oop. Pale blue's going to come off too. The blue-green though, man. You got to be really careful with some of these because it's gonna overpower the model. Let's open the ivory. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, let's shake this. Just to make sure. You know, with whites, it's so easy for the pigment to build up where it looks gross. You know, this was obviously sitting on a palette before it got to me, so let's make sure that that's good. All right. Oh, there's like nothing in there. There we go. Yeah, the bone white has more. Let me kind of wipe off the excess black and blue that kind of came out here. For those of you paying along, feel free to chat, hang out with me, ask me questions, ask me anything. For those of you that just stopped by to support me, of course, say hi. This is what we're doing for the next hour or two. Alright, got our multi-purpose brush. Let's dip into the ivory. And let's just put this here. Let's see what this looks like. Nice. So it's gotta play with my brightness a little more, but you can see it's kind of it's very close to the gray. But as we put it more on the model, you'll kind of see it come through more. So like all Wizkids models, this is primed, painted, ready to go out of the box. That one YouTube commenter that said it wasn't. They absolutely are. The Warhammer stuff you gotta prime. But all the Wizkids D&D stuff you do not have to prime. It comes ready, which is super good for beginners. Man, we can really put this on the model. I'm just gonna cover everything kind of at base. And then wash the brush a little bit. And what we can do is, while that's still wet, you gotta be careful because it dries very quickly. Pale blue, black brown. Wow, this is tough. This is tough. Let's open the black brown. And this is just so gently. Just grab a little bit of this, and let's just see if we can just kind of blend this in, you know. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be all over, you know. You kind of designate some spots you want it to be a little more grayish and gross. You can kind of see, yeah, you can see pretty clearly some of the spots here where, trying to figure out my camera since I got it flipped this time. Let's go back to our ivory and let's primarily cover this with the white. One thing I would say about these kind of multi-purpose brushes, obviously not their fault, you want to be able to cover everything, but they're giving out multi-purpose, they're a little small, and they do give you the multi-purpose and the fine detail in some of these big guys, you know, where you can really just cover them with stuff to start. Just wish they were a little bigger, but we want to keep using what we have. It's easy to get impatient with the brushes. You know, if you're trying to cover a large area with a small brush, and it's very easy to kind of ruin them. You just want to be a little patient to cover the model. I'm just going to get pretty much coat the whole skull in this ivory. Maybe I'll switch to the bone white. You can kind of see that. You see that black brown come through a little bit. It's actually not, yeah, this is good. Kind of get around the eye here. I'm so nervous to, it's tough for beginners to paint these kind of like translucent pieces. We're going to see how we do when we get there. Because we do want to, that's where we're going to use our pinks, you know? But it's tough, much tougher. Yeah, and you kind of want to get around and under the eye socket too. Don't leave anything prime in the prime gray. All right, but yeah, we have a pretty significant kind of white on it. You can kind of see it looks good and different enough from the primed gray. Let's go into, I want to clean the brush. Let's go into the bone white, which is really like a tannish brown, you know? And let's go under the jaw with that. And then let's kind of go over the jaw. And just kind of throw it wherever we feel like it. While the ivory is still wet, it blends pretty well. What color are these teeth? White? Probably ivory teeth. Actually looks pretty similar. Bone white though. Bone white. This is absolutely brown. It's funny. You know, we do have a green. I don't know. It's like undead, right? So you want to put green in it, but I don't know. It could be super strong. We'll see what it looks like. We're gonna try and use every color in some capacity, you know. And yeah, I think that it's a good idea to kind of, if we get the teeth and the bone white, then we can come back with the ivory. And we can kind of whiten them up a little bit, but still, you know, it's a monster. Whenever you're doing monster teeth, you don't want them to be like completely pearly white, you know? It's just not, it's not realistic with the monsters. They can be dirty. That's why there's really no wrong answers with some of these monster pieces, you know? You make a mistake and you put too much brown on it, you can just say they stepped in dirt. Bone white's looking pretty good, actually. Might want to switch to that being a primary. Splash some ivory back in there. Let's get behind here. Get back into our ivory. And now, just in a couple places, lighten it up. See if that's coming through for you guys. Camera's making it play with the brightness a little bit, dealing with a different brightness here in store, but it's coming across as pretty white. But we'll fix that. Actually, I'm glad that it does, because the bone white really, in my eyes, you know, in person, it looks a little more tannish, but this is looking pretty good. So let's go into our black brown. I'm a little worried to use the black straight up. And let's just take a little bit off of it. Just a little bit off the brush. I don't want to overload it with a black color. And if we kind of just come through and blend some black in and really dirty it up. You know, especially while the bone white is still drying. We're going to see some kind of dirty features come in. Right around the back of the skull here. Don't want to load it up in don't want to load up too much of the black in one spot, otherwise it'll look like you really just kind of slapped it on there with a brush. But that's going to dirty it up a little bit. Where? Darn it. Left my drink over there. Alright, more. Oh, there's a medium gray here too. That looks pretty similar to the bone white. Oh, it's much darker. Oh, okay, okay. Let's do more bone white towards the back. Okay, and we got most of this covered with bone white now. Oh, let's get those cheekbones. Let's go in with this medium gray, which is really just it looks like a brown. Let's see what that does to it. I don't want too much here, but let's just go. This medium gray is actually setting up well for a natural look into the black. Just kind of blend a little bit here. Top of the head's a little gray. Can change that. Like I said, no wrong answers here how you paint it. Really, any combination of these works. All right. We are looking pretty brown. Now, while it's still wet, let's grab a little bit of this black brown, and we just kind of splash it where we want it. Anywhere. So over here. Just kind of blend that right in. Just keep working it with the brush. Here. Oh, that's a lot. Here. And just work it. Put some kind of down the sides of the eye here. It's almost like a dry brushing, but it's just working with what's still wet on the model. Kind of see the dirtied features here now, right? Yeah, there you go. Oh. Yep. Maybe a little more of that bone white, and let's kind of. I'm just going to double back over some of these places where I think there was just a little too dark, or it's just want to blend it a little better, make it look a little more natural. Best part about painting over black, well, it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing in this sense, is that you paint over it with anything lighter, the black will remain in some capacity. It's really hard to paint over black unless you use multiple coats. But that's what we're going for. We want it to look more natural. All right, we got to get around the bottom and the inside of this thing too. Like, probably just going to be similar. Give me a little ivory. Just going back on the teeth with some ivory. Trying to define the teeth. Make them stand out a little bit from the rest of the face. Just kind of. There we go. And just kind of brush the rest of this through. You can probably, realistically, you can go back over this a million times with the grays and the ivories and the bone whites. And you can really develop just so many layers to it. Really, you have a lot of space to work with. There's not too much detail here on the back of the head where you'd be like obscuring anything by adding multiple coats. It's really just, it's a playground. You can do whatever you want with it. Alright, we're going to go with the bone white, and we're just going to get under kind of the back of it, and roof of the mouth and the jaw. Kind of the stuff that you don't typically see. Oh, our brush is actually already fraying a little bit. Like I said, it's a problem with kind of using the small brushes for such a big area to cover. And I'm also using it to switch between a lot of colors. You can already actually see a fray there. Where's my camera? Let's see a fray there. But all the starter brushes that I have from previous kits, I still have, none of them completely broke on me. I still use them in some capacity. So they're really, like I said, we're talking value with what you get here. This is pretty solid, especially for those that, you're not sure if you want to start painting, but you do play D&D campaigns. You want to start incorporating maps and monsters and figures, but you're not sure if you're going to like it. This is a great way to start. And now you have to incorporate a Death Tyrant into your campaign. Gonna be harder for you guys to see here on camera, but we're going just under. Yeah, I want to try to avoid painting the actual thing it's standing on, that translucent piece. Kind of looks a little gross if you touch it. And it's hard to clean up too, because you're not really, like the bottom, the base that it's kind of holding on that keeps it floating, we're not really going to try and paint that at all. Just getting under the jaw. Just using the bone white. Come in with the ivory a little bit too. And while it's not totally visible, you want to make sure that you get any other patches you see of primed, unpainted, you want to make sure you catch. Trust me, when you try and take a picture of this, the camera sees everything, even if it looks similar color. All right. Let's see where we work our camera here. See kind of all the colors kind of blending together there. It's almost kind of like a moon rock kind of look. All right, we got to get kind of the roof of the mouth. The Death Tyrant, I think, different from the Beholder. The Beholder blocks magic wherever it's looking. The Death Tyrant blocks recovery wherever it's looking. And it does have a legendary action that's Bite, which I believe is like 4d6 piercing. So, does it make sense to have red on the teeth if it bites you? Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to overdo the red here. Let's go to the roof of the mouth though with the bone white. Roof of the mouth probably be a little cleaner. I get the underside of the teeth there. I think we might be able to get away with a little bit of red. A very subtle amount of red on the teeth. Just coming off of the bite. Start with just covering it with a basic bone white here underneath, and then we can kind of add some more color. Yeah, this is going to be harder to see, guys, on camera. Oh, actually, I might find an angle here. Right there in the gullet, we get that. Now, if we take a little bit of, let's just get a little crazy. First, let's get some of this medium. Yeah, let's get the medium gray, right? And we just kind of put that across the roof. A little bit more of the medium gray. Get it right in here. Into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe, a little bit more coming through here. Baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you. Now let's see if we can do some red here. Let's see how crazy this is going to look. If we don't like it, we can always paint that color. It's the best part. The crazy colors. We have, yeah, let's do the magenta. Okay. It's very thick. It's not quite a red. We can actually, you know, let's do a little. We can do a little mix, and we can make it a little redder. Take the fine detail brush. We haven't used that yet. We haven't tormented the fine detail brush yet. So let me grab a little bit. Let me just kind of put it right here. I know there are like clear holes for paints, but I don't do that. Just gonna put it right there. Clean it. Now let's grab just a touch. Just a touch of this black brown. Yeah, because too much of it will darken it and kind of mud mix it. So it's like a darker, look at it, kind of that, it's like a dried blood kind of look. It actually kind of looks kind of purple on camera. Let's all right, let's take most of that off the brush, right? This looks so purple. This looks so purple. But let's see how this looks. Take most of this off the brush, right? Come to the model. And let's just kind of do just a little bit back here. Kind of under the roof. A little bit more. Take it right off. And let's see if we can get the tips of the teeth here with this. Just coming off of that bright action. Yeah, it's just subtle enough. Looks nice. Very nice. All right. Kind of see it. Yep, you see it in the roof there. Very subtle. Okay. So that looks good. Still have to paint in the eye socket, and that's probably going to be it's interesting how they printed this. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be kind of a blend. I actually like, we might be able to keep this color. Let me take the multi-purpose. Let's grab some more of this. It's going to dry quickly. It's not a wet palette, so if you mix anything on this palette, it will dry very quickly. Let's get this around the eye. Try to avoid touching anything outside of the socket with this color. You can kind of do whatever you want with it, but I want to keep it in the eye socket here. I thought I wasn't going to have enough color, but it looks like I am. Whoops. Yep, see, like that. You kind of brush it across. Well, actually, that's not terrible. It's not too bad. Just trying to get the outside of this eye socket, but most of the mistakes are going to look all right. And you can come back with the ivory on that. Just be patient as you just cover all the gray spots. Okay, so we got the inside of the eye, that kind of darkish purple. Give me that fine detail. Let's get back into the ivory, and let's just kind of cover some of these spots where we kind of get a little gung-ho. And leave some purple. Leave some.
Have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you
all right.
feel like
So we have the eye there, and you can see that in the middle, that kind of the pupil is that kind of this clear plastic. So that's a little harder, as I mentioned. That's a little hard to paint on. But I think we just get a glob of the. I'm really thinking just a big splotch of the pink right there in the middle, and then there's our eye. So for that, we're going to use the magenta fluorescent. Oh, that's what that is. Fluorescent magenta. This is probably what we're going to use for the little balls, too. Yeah, and the model does depict kind of pink in the head, too, right, in those craters. So let's do that. Let's get our multi-purpose. All right, let's see if they're going to look really good or really bad. Here we go. Right here. You got to put a good amount on it, right? Because you see how it doesn't right away. It's not grabbing it. We can come back, and you might have to come back and kind of dab it a few times here. See how it doesn't grab? You can see how you still see the clear behind it. It's because it's not. There's no prime, so it's having trouble gripping it. But we come back with a couple more globs, and we'd be good. While we're at it, we can do all the balls too, but this is going to be, we're going to have to go back and forth quite a few times here. Let me see. Well, this one actually, you know, as long as we can tint it this color we want, then we're good. And you want to try to avoid getting it on the sticks because, you know, this is supposed to look like they're floating around the Death Tyrant. You get enough of this color just to kind of make the tint look, just kind of tint it. Then it looks good. That's all you need. You can be a little more liberal with the use here when you're going on these kind of translucent pieces. But you don't want to glob it too much. But the more you work it, the more it might just kind of wipe away. It's like a tough balance when you get to these. Okay. Starting to come together there. You see the kind of the pink. Okay. Yeah. Menacing. So pink. It's so menacing. And this is actually, let's grab another bit of splotch of this and let's try and put it right on the eye. You know what? Perfect. It's like a dollop right there. But that's all you need. Menacing. that will drip down it pretty easily. So we're going to go ahead and let that kind of dry a little bit right there, because that looks super good. That's what we want. We got some extra pink here, so let's gonna start right there and right there in the craters. That's a little too pink, though. I think we can use magenta for that. Please don't drip. These are looking good. Yeah. I didn't bring the hairdryer. Shoot. That's kind of cheating, though. Was that our fine detail? Oh, that was our multi-purpose. Okay. Alright, we're just going to let that... Let that dry for just a second. We'll be right back.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explore right up in the sky. I need you to listen,
All right.
I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
All right. Let's...
We are heroes tonight.
So this is, we're getting to the part where really anything else we do to the head is kind of just a creative choice. But I do want to try and use some of these blues and greens. Let's go ahead and do that. I think we're done with the magenta, the fluorescent magenta. We get into our regular magenta. Let's get our fine detail. Put it right in there. We want to get these craters here. There we go. Let me set the playlist. Hopefully, I am louder than the music. We will see in the VOD. Eye's still not dry. Let's do some of this blue-green. Actually, I don't like how that purple dried in the roof. Let get back into just a little bit of the bone white. Kind of mitigate some of that. Don't want to get rid of all of it. Just looked a little too strong back there. And this is where we start looking really closely just to make sure we didn't leave any prime pieces. It's very easy to miss on a model like this, like right here, kind of in this cheekbone gap. Absolutely need to cover that. And yep, a big spot right there. Hard to see on camera, but kind of right here is still gray. And right in here is still gray. And go right in here too. I put the excess back kind of all over. I think these spikes, I want to make that a blue-green. It's like the spikes coming out of the back of the head a little bit. Alright, let's get into our blue-green. I changed the playlist actually. Let's go to the relaxing one. Alone in peace. Okay. So we have steel blue, pastel blue, it like rubbed off. German camouflage, who? And we got the blue-green. I will go with the blue-green because I think I was going to mix those anyway. Let me close all these ones we're not using. Oh, there's like a pale blue too. Okay, let's use the blue-green and the pale blue. Those are both right here on the end. Pale blue is looking pretty gray. That's a great color, actually. That looks really nice. And the blue-green. All right, so we'll do the cheekbones to start. Let's see what this looks like. So we get into our pale blue. Pale blue, right? Let's see what this looks like. We just kind of cover the cheekbones here in this pale blue. And it looks, you know, it's pretty in line, looks kind of natural. Naturally kind of gray there. Very subtle. Keep it going. Get this other cheekbone. Now here's the hard part. While this is still wet, let's go fine detail. Let's get into blue-green. Very subtle. Not too much at all. Not really. Take some off on the paper towel over here. And let's just kind of brush it on. Yeah. Brush some of it on. Just gonna take a clean brush. Just kind of blend all that together. And kind of make it look like it's spreading a little bit. Just kind of smooth that out though. Absolutely. Don't want to overpower. A little bit back into the pale blue, just a touch just kind of smooth that out. And now, give me the ivory back. Touch of ivory while everything's still wet. Just to try and bring it, blend it, bring it kind of together. You don't want it to just suddenly get blue, you know? Yeah, like right there, that's a little rough. Let's smooth that. And just kind of bring that out and it's kind of all over in the immediate area here. Spread into the jaw a little bit, you know. And there you go. See, pretty subtle. So we see the white. Hey, Zal. Yeah, it's the Death Tyrant. This is an undead beholder, more or less. So it's just a zombie beholder. It's not a zombie beholder like per se. And a Death Tyrant is a beholder that decided it wanted to be undead, not necessarily like it was resurrected. So you can kind of see the blue-green on the cheekbones kind of come together with the rest of kind of the white and the black there. Let's get a little more of that ivory and just kind of keep smoothing that out a little bit more. Yeah. Let's do the same thing over here. Let's get that pale blue. Kind of go through the spikes. I don't know if we need to make this one any more complicated. Pale blue. And just kind of right where the peaks are. Kind of put this color. You'd think you'd want to use the green, you know, it's an undead. Got to have that zombie green somewhere. I don't know. I don't know where we're going to put that. I don't know. We got to use the green somewhere, right? Let's try it. This bright green. Where do you put that on this thing? Oh, shoot. Spilled my water cup on the playmat. Whoops. Let me open up this bright green. Oh, man, that's so bright. Let me grab another paper towel. This playmat has so much character now. Okay, keep that over here. Yeah, so, whoop, I want to grab the back of it now. So we can see the blue-green kind of there on the cheekbones. You see we kind of put a little pale blue. It's such a dome. Look how bright it is. Put a little blue there on the spikes, you know, on the back of the head. You can kind of see that. And now, where do we put this green, though? Maybe we can use it on the base. Yeah. Let's do like a black-green base. Very appropriate colors. Give me the black-brown, though. Black is just such an absolute, you know. I like it when they give me kind of a black-brown. I'll go ahead and mix it over here on the palette too. Give me a black-brown right here. Put it in the... Put it right here. And let me just put some of it on the base to start. Actually, you know, good idea to put it kind of around the edges here because anything that comes off the brush onto the base will be the color of the base. That's nice. It's like the other night when I was doing the Sliad, we had a tan base. That comes out onto the actual black base. It's pretty obvious. So we'll just kind of get this around the entire bottom. Yeah. Grab some of this camouflage, German camouflage. Get it over here, mix it in a little bit. That's pretty bright. Get this kind of swampy green here. And kind of mixing further in with what we have on the base already. Let's kind of put it on a little bit. If I can make it more green, that's good. And want to avoid touching the stand. Just trying to cover up all the prime spots. The bases are always so kind of dimpled, you know. I want to make sure you get it all. Base is done. Used our green. Have we used all the colors? Oh, we gotta try this varnish. What's that about? What is this varnish about? If we're happy with our head color, then I think we can go for it. Let me just mix in. Give me this bone white again. Let's just open up the bone white and the ivory again, just kind of touch up a little bit what we want. trying to think of how we want to highlight this base a little bit. It's a little dark. We can probably highlight it with some bright green. Let me just get right into the bright green directly. And we'll do a little dry brushing. Let's take some of it off and let's just... tap some bright green around that base. I think it could be a little brighter though. Put a little bright green here. Give me the livery. Very, very bright highlight here. Got our bright, bright green. Take some of it off here. And now, and there we go. Base is a little more vibrant. Kind of like a gross swampy forest floor kind of vibe. Okay. Kind of see. There you go. Not as kind of one note, you know. A little more vibrant. Just 3 different colors. And I think we are just about done. There is one thing that I want to do, and this is just personal preference. Totally up to you guys. Let me get my black brown. Give me the highlighting, or the fine detail. Just going to take a little bit of it. First, I just want to put a little more on the back of the head. Take most of it off the brush, and just kind of work some of it in. Put some here, 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 right? Right, so we got our marks kind of on the back of the head there. Quick while it's still wet. Come on. Bone white. Just a touch. And we just kind of move it. And we just kind of move it. Blend it right in. All right, now let's see how this looks. Just a piece of the black brown. I want to do kind of like a scar going across the eye. I'm going to make it a little thinner, kind of pointed. And just kind of gloss over it so it's not totally out there, just kind of blurred a little bit. It's not prominent, not right in front, you know, but it's there, it's visible. You can kind of see it. There you go. Going back over the ivory, just kind of highlight it in a few more places. And then I say that this is just about done. Okay. And this is going to be our completed Death Tyrant. We're going to try the varnish, though. But here's the color. It's just a huge mix of the whites we had with the kind of black brown. But you notice that nothing's really like black or brown. It's always kind of like it comes into kind of this gray matter kind of look. And then we have the magenta. Little bit of purple coming off the teeth, just barely, and we have that kind of vibrant green background. The cheekbones, if you look closely, they are that blue because we use the blue-green there, but it's not. It's very subtle. We don't want it kind of looking like, you know, too much color. It's a little clownish. Let me grab. I want to do the underside of the jaw, and then we'll do the varnish. Always finding spots. This is fine detail. We don't need fine detail. Take most of it off. And under the jaw. Put it in spots. medium gray. Okay. And into bone white. All right, jaw. Back of the jaw is just a little dirtier now. Doesn't look just like so one note. And now let's try this varnish. I'm assuming it's just like it's similar to a wash, right? All right, let's see what it looks like. It's just a gloss. It should just shiny things up. It's no color really. Yep, it's just a wash. Let's just put this all over. Oh, I see what's happening. It kind of brings out more dirt. It's like a black wash almost. It's going to make it a little filthier, a little more vibrant. Just makes it shinier, really. This gives it a nice shine. This actually this is a great pickup to use for other pieces too down the line. I mean, I'm really not even scratching the surface of this thing, and I feel like I've been varnishing for like 5 minutes. All right. I think with that, we have a completed Death Tyrant. Hour and a half. Not bad. Not bad. Looking good. I think we used just about every color. And all this came in the Paint Night kit with the brushes, the palette, everything. All in one kit, guys. So if you guys are on the fence picking this up, I recommend it. Especially this varnish is pretty cool. A lot of pickups. Blues. Gives you blue, green, red, black, and all these kind of like tannish colors. So it's a pretty good pickup. I hope you guys enjoyed this. The VOD will be out on the channel later. Next month, we're doing the Bone Claw right here, same place, right live from Just Games. And I think that's going to be, what is that? Mid-December. I think we were looking at December 12th. So the Bone Claw, another great monster, a lot of whites and grays, kind of more another zombie-ish kind of figure. But this was a fun one for sure. Hopefully you guys share on Twitter pictures of the ones that you painted. If you guys found this enjoyable, helpful, all just very helpful with the store, who was, stores running their own D&D campaigns as well. Always need more painted minis. So happy to provide. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.